Hi, friends, and happy summer. It's Mrs. Vendetti and Frankie, of course. How are you doing, Frankie? Good. We're all hanging in there, aren't we? Well, today I'd like to share with you another Epossumondas story, part of the collection of Epossumondas stories written by Coleen Salley. If you haven't already listened to Epossumondas Saves the Day and Epossumondas Plays Possum, you can do that by listening to those stories on my channel. Today, I'm going to share with you why Epossumondas has no hair. Okay? Are you ready? Let's see if we can put Frankie right here. All right. Great. So here's the story. And this book is illustrated by Janet Stevens. Remember Epossumondas? He has some pretty special characteristics. He's a very warm and loving possum. Epossumondas was swinging on the porch one day when Skunk came pussyfooting by. "Hi, Epossumondas," said Skunk. "Hi, Skunk," said Epossumondas. Skunk and Epossumondas were waving friends, not play-together friends. So they waved, and Skunk pranced on by, swishing her thick black and white tail. Huh. Boy, I sure do love that porch swing. Oh, I would love one of those. Epossumondas kept lollygagging there on the porch, thinking and swinging and thinking. He was thinking about tails. Skunks have thick black and white tails, he thought, and foxes have bushy red tails, and even hares have fluffy white powder puff tails. But my tail is just pink and naked and funny looking. Sounds to me like he's judging himself. After a while, Epossumondas went inside to find his mama. "Mama, why don't I have hair on my tail?" he asked, climbing into her lap. "Well, honey," Mama said, "possums have always had naked tails. There's an old story. A long time ago, Papa Possum, your great-great-grandpa, had a fluffy little powder puff tail just like hair. All possums did in those days. Now, Papa Possum was a mighty smart fellow. He could fool animals much bigger than he was just by playing dead. And oh, what a storyteller he was. But in spite of his smarts, sometimes he got himself in trouble. And this was one of those times." You remember Mama from the other Epossumondas stories? She's a wonderful, loving woman. Papa Possum was sleeping peacefully in his cozy bed one morning when "Rrrr, rrrr." Papa Possum got up. "Who's that? Is that you, Stomach, growling and groaning and kicking up a ruckus? Rrrr. You are one hungry stomach. What's that you want? Persimmons, you say? Well, persimmons you'll get." I wonder what persimmons are. So Papa Possum headed down the road looking for persimmons. By and by, he ran across his friend Hare, and they started jabbering and confubbering. "What are you up to, Hare?" asked Papa Possum. "Nothing now," said Hare. He looked tired. "I've been working hard, planting, watering, harvesting." "Wish I had something to plant," moaned Papa Possum. "Stomach wishes it too. Hear that rumbling? He's craving persimmons." "Persimmons?" Hare said. Sounds good to me too. You know, Bear likes persimmons because they're sweet as honey, so he planted a whole mess of persimmons trees. Ha! Here's Hare and Papa Possum making a plan. Now, Hare wasn't so good at climbing trees, but he sure was good at cooking up plans. He figured he could get himself some persimmons, and Papa Possum could do all the work. "I'm sure Bear would want you to have some, Papa Possum," Hare said. "You just climb up in the tallest tree and throw those persimmons right down to me. Then you take half and I'll take half. Deal?" Before Hare finished speaking, Papa Possum lit out. Hare followed close behind. Oh boy. Soon, Papa Possum was perched on the highest branch in the highest tree, gobbling persimmon after persimmon. "What do you say now, Stomach?" Papa Possum cried. Stomach was happy, and Papa Possum was happy. Between bites, he sang at the top of his voice, "Persimmons, simmons, high up in the tree. Plenty enough for Stomach, plenty enough for me." But Hare wasn't happy. "Hey, Papa Possum, throw those persimmons down to me." "Oh, sorry, Frankie. Mwah, hit you in the nose." Papa Possum threw one and gobbled three. And in between gobbling, he kept right on singing, "Persimmons, simmons, high up in the tree. Plenty enough for Stomach and plenty enough for me." Hare yelled louder, "Come on, Papa Possum. We made a deal." Papa Possum threw one and gobbled five, then sang a little louder, "Persimmons, simmons, high up in the tree. Plenty enough for Stomach and plenty enough for me." Now Hare was mad. "All those persimmons for Papa Possum and hardly any for me. Oh, he'll be sorry." And Hare hightailed it down the road. Who do you think he met on that road? Yeah, that's right. It was Bear. Bear's the one that planted the persimmons trees. "Hey, Bear," Hare called. "You hear that singing? I think maybe there's someone in your persimmon patch." Then he skedaddled away. Bear stopped and listened, and then took off growling and snarling. Papa Possum was singing so loudly he didn't even hear Bear coming. Bear shook the tallest tree, but Papa Possum just hung on tight and sang out, "3 simmons more, and then I'll go." Bear shook harder, but Papa Possum hung on tighter and sang out, 2 Simmons more, and then I'll go. Then Bear gave that tree a ferocious shake, and Papa Possum hung on for dear life. Even then, he sang, just 1 simmon more, and then I'll go. Bear shook that tree so hard you would have thought the earth was going to fall apart. And finally, down Papa Possum dropped. Down, 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 in a shower of ripe persimmons. The instant Papa Possum touched the ground, he got his feet going and bolted for the fence as fast as a racehorse. But Bear was fast too, and he got closer and closer. Stop, you persimmon-picking possum! I'm gonna teach you a thing or two, snarled Bear. Just as Papa Possum slipped through the rails of the fence, Bear chomped his teeth around that little powder puff tail. And he wasn't going to let go. No siree. Oof, that looks like it hurts. Bear pulled one way. Papa Possum pulled the other, and that fluffy little powder puff tail stretched. They pulled more, and it stretched more. Why, it was a tail tug of war. At last, pop! Papa Possum was free, so he kept right on going and going all the way home. And Bear? He was back there at the fence with a whole mouthful of hair. Believe it or not, his teeth had stripped that powder puff tail clean and stretched it into the longest, skinniest tail you ever did see. Ooh, the pain of it, the shame of it. Stomach wasn't quite so fond of persimmons after that, and Papa Possum had lost that fluffy little powder puff tail. Now you might think that Papa Possum was kind of embarrassed about his tail. It was so pink and naked and funny looking. But he always could make something good out of something bad. It turned out that tail came in pretty handy. Papa Possum found a million different ways to use it. And ever since then, Mama said, hugging her baby close, no possum has ever had hair on his tail, including you, my sweet little patootie. So that's the story, my friends. Why Epossumondas has no tail. And sometimes, even though we like to compare ourselves maybe to other kids, and we say, well, they have this and I don't have that. It's important to love ourselves just as we are and celebrate our differences.